Oh, hello, you wrong'un. What a tangled web we weave, if at first we practice to deceive. It's all coming out today. The Met have had their say, the BBC are having more of their say, and the victim through a lawyer, is saying very odd things. But she would, wouldn't she? She's a crack addict, according to the mum and according to the Sun newspaper. But I want to read some sort of press releases. It's been sent out. It's on a lot of the mainstream media's websites, particularly the BBC's. Now, let's just have a sit rep here. 3 days this has been going on. Front page of most of the newspapers, certainly from Sunday and today, and police are now assessing information from the BBC about allegations against a presenter. We'll call him Presenter X. But said there was no investigation at this time. I'll say that again. The Met have said no investigation at this time. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson said detectives held a virtual meeting, that'll be Zoom, possibly, with the BBC representatives today, Monday. The Met is now making further inquiries to establish whether, and I quote, whether there is evidence of a criminal offence being committed. Shouldn't that be has been committed? Well, we'll wait and see what their investigations throw up. The Sun has reported that an unnamed presenter, Presenter X, has been accused of paying a teenager for sexually explicit photos. The newspaper claimed that the man had paid the individual tens of thousands of pounds. Actually, we hear from the Sun that it's 35k, 35 grand, thousands of pounds for the images starting when the young person was 17. Now, I'm trying to figure out why they're dancing around with the detail, because in the original article, the young person, their sex was named. So maybe it's privacy laws in this country, which newspapers are bound to be hot on. On Sunday, the BBC said a staff member had been suspended, Presenter X, but had not identified him. Didn't need to. It's all over Twitter. A police statement said detectives from the Met's Specialist Crime Command met with representatives from the BBC on the morning of July 10th. That's today. The meeting took place virtually. They are assessing the information discussed at the meeting and further inquiries are taking place to establish whether there is evidence of a criminal offence being committed. I mean, being's current tense, isn't it? This goes back 3 years. There is no investigation at this time, quote, unquote. There is no investigation at this time. So, no complainer, no crime. So I have a few questions. We'll get on to what the BBC have released a little earlier, and that lawyer. I mean, lawyers, you know, they normally use their personalities as contraception. But this lawyer's come out full of it and said, it's ridiculous. So, but we'll get to that in a second. Questions I want to know. What does the Sun newspaper know? Should they use the old line, print and be damned? Or are they a little worried that they wouldn't have sufficient proof? The burden of proof is insufficient, possibly. Question 2, is this two parents trying to protect their child? We've heard that the child has gotten lost in a downward drug spiral. Is that what it's all about? Protecting their child from further drug use or misuse? Question 3, do you believe this story is going to run further? And question 4, well, it's a statement rather than a question. We don't need to know the presenter's name. It's everywhere. Everywhere, except, is that the right person? Question. We all know. We know that the BBC is on the rack. And this is being played out social media, mainstream media, TV, radio-ish, but mostly print media, traditional print media. Now, I haven't read The Stun today through choice because I was just reading the grubbiness of it all over the weekend. And I'm now going to read you what the BBC has said and a statement from a lawyer. Claims made by the mother at the heart of the Presenter X BBC presenter scandal are rubbish. A lawyer representing the young person has said. The lawyer told the BBC, quote, nothing inappropriate or unlawful, end quote, took place, and the young person sent a denial to The Sun before it published the claims. The Sun first reported allegations on Friday that a BBC presenter, Presenter X, who nobody knows, had paid a teenager for sexually explicit photos. The paper says it has seen evidence to back the mother's claim. In their letter sent on Monday to the BBC, the lawyer says the young person sent a message on WhatsApp to the paper on Friday evening denying the claims, saying the statement their mother made to the newspaper was totally wrong and there was no truth in it. Nonetheless, the lawyer added the Sun newspaper proceeded to publish their inappropriate article. For avoidance of doubt, I'm quoting here, for avoidance of doubt, nothing inappropriate or unlawful has taken place between our client and the BBC personality, Presenter X. And the allegations reported in the Sun newspaper are rubbish, the lawyer writes. In response, the Sun says, we have reported a story about two very concerned parents who made a complaint to the BBC about the behaviour of a presenter, Presenter X, and the welfare of their child. Their complaint was not acted upon by the BBC. We have seen evidence that supports their concerns. It's now for the BBC to properly investigate. BBC News does not know the identity of the young person and has not spoken directly to them. Is this a distraction from something else? Because what's coming across to me is the parents are probably trying to, and again, this is in my view, if their child is lost in a terrible place with drug addiction and they're trying to get the best help for them, they have to cut off the money so that they can't buy crack cocaine, as has been reported in the Sun. So I just want to know. You know the photo of Presenter X that's like everywhere? Everybody knows now. In fact, everybody outside this sceptred aisle knows. Just we're not being allowed to know, other than it's everywhere. Who took the photo? You know, that photo with said person's derriere hanging out. I mean, who took that photo? What is the source of the photo? Because if we answer those questions, we'll get to what is the essence of this whole story. And the other thing is, now the mum has been very vociferous within the Sun's reportage saying that monies have been deposited up to £5,000 a pop into their child's bank account over 3 years. Is that the evidence that they've got? That's damning in itself. Or is it? So, who posted the monies into the victim's account and why? Now, here's where we get to the interesting part. Is this blackmail? Is this a honey trap? We understand from the Sun that Presenter X made 2 phone calls to the victim and asked them to stop it all. Call the mother off. And she's contacted the Sun via WhatsApp, as you do, and told them it's unfounded, nothing inappropriate or unlawful took place, and the young person sent a denial to the Sun before it published the claims via WhatsApp, according to a lawyer representing the victim. So you've got the son and the parents and the victim and a lawyer. Now, what deniability could presenter X have? That's where you need to look next, the deniability. Because there may be some. Will this become more complex? Will there be more questions asked? What a tangled web we weave, if at first we practice to deceive. Who is deceiving who? Because there is a deception going on here. I won't go any further than that, but we have the Met having a look at whatever evidence have been provided by the BBC today via a virtual meeting. We have a lawyer now coming out representing the victim going, and I'll paraphrase, it's all tosh. But we understand from the Sun that presenter X made a couple of phone calls last week trying to get it all stopped. Now, why would they do that? Why would the presenter call the victim and tell them to stop it all? Because if he was innocent, and it is a he according to all the reportage, if he was innocent, he would just go, let's go to the press and let's just have you tell your story and I'll tell mine. And I'll give the reasons for why, what I've done. I think what's going to happen over the next couple of days, the Sun's going to have to publish more information. The Met are watching to see if anything illegal has happened. The victim or child is saying it's inappropriate, utter rubbish, nothing going on. But why are they putting out press releases? Is this covering something else up? I'll give you 3 words. George Osborne's email. Go Google it. Because this story, presenter X and possible blackmail, honey trap, guilty, could be anything. We literally don't know whether anything illegal has taken place. But I don't think that is what everyone is engaged by. I think most of the people I've spoken to are just looking at the BBC going, again? Savile? Stuart Hall? And others? Rolf Harris? So that's why people are engaged by this. But are they being engaged by the wrong thing? Maybe you need to Google George Osborne's email and see what you come up with. But we'll keep an eye on this one, because I think there's more to come out, especially if the Sun publishes more information tomorrow. I'll keep on it for you. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. And I'll see you in the next video.